Right, yeah. Right, I'm sure. I just heard it.
Yeah, it's like the 30 degrees.
Watch the football team.
Right. Must be good for you.
It's only 90 calories.
Yeah.
Way better than
Welcome everybody. I'd like to call the meeting to order and start out with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Welcome everybody. If this is your first school board meeting or you'd like more information, we've got some over on the table there that kind of describes what we're trying to get done here. Also, if you'd like to speak on one of our agenda items, grab a green card, get it to me right away, and you can speak during scheduled and unscheduled visitors. Member clerk or acting clerk, please take a roll call.
Sure. Member Corcoran is absent. Member Rayfield.
Present.
Member Olson's absent. Member Peterson.
Here.
Member Moorhead is absent. Member Odegaard.
Here.
And Member Tyson's here.
All right. Looks like we got a tight crew here, but I remember Moorhead should be showing up shortly. No changes to the agenda. Scheduled and unscheduled visitors. Member Tyson, you want to give a report on the listening
Yes.
session?
We had 2 in attendance at our listening session. We had a teacher that's taught in our district for 16 years, Britt Shackley. She's talked about, she splits her time between Century and Southwest, but she talked about professional development and trauma-informed classrooms. And then we also had a Forest Lake resident here, and his name was Michael Ulrich, and he brought some concerns about maintenance at the fields, and he had some good questions about the new fields, the new ball field behind Century. And that's my report.
All right, thank you. Agenda item 5, student achievement, ALC, CLC. Kelly Levine.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you for having us tonight. I'm here with Terry Deschon and Tori Pell, a student at ALC, and they'll be talking a little bit about the leadership opportunities and student fun at the ALC. So I'm here tonight to talk a little bit about alternative options for families in our district in the Forest Lake area schools. As we take a look at enrollment and recruiting families for our district, I think it's important that we have options for our students. And I'm told that I have to stay under 10 minutes, so I'll fly through a PowerPoint. I want to try and give you as much information as possible with options that we have within our district. So as it states up there, we believe that all students meet their full potential by producing high levels of engagement through positive relationships, and that's something that we really focus on at the ALC and all of our programming that you'll see throughout the PowerPoint. Alternative options within our district are offered to meet the learning styles of students who may align with a non-traditional setting. And we'll talk about some of those as I fly through the PowerPoint. Last year, programming options and enrollment, I kind of listed what we have throughout the CLC. And at the ALC last year, we serviced 137 students. At Central Montessori, we have about 115 students. And then elementary extended day, we service 218 students. The junior high extended day at the YMCA, which was a new program that we tried last year, we always struggle with that junior high programming, engaging kids, because we often compete with sports and other opportunities that they have. So that's still an area of need. We need to do something to change that, and we're looking at that this year. So, but 22 students consistently attended that YMCA program. Through guided studies, Seth Webster is someone that facilitates that program along with Mark Jansen. 60 students completed guided studies last year. And so that's something that they can do in addition after their school day. They come over to the ALC and it's packet-based. We had 9 students with online learning last year. Last year in Stride, we had about 46 students between Southwest and Century. And then ALC 9, we had 33 students within the junior high programming. Summer school at the secondary level, 10 through 12, we had 311 kids in credit recovery. Summer school last year, K through 9, we had 460 students. So we serviced, as you can see, 1,336 students in alternative options. So this year, as always, we need to change based on our student needs. We're taking a look at what we can do this year to change our programming. Again, to recruit kids, but offer those opportunities for kids that just don't align with that general ed curriculum and the mainstream. So this year at the ALC, we're taking a look at and we're reviewing our vision. We're defining our core values. And we're also taking a look at what do we want ALC to feel like? What do we want people to get out of the ALC? Some strategic outcomes. We're going to come up with a name for the ALC. We're excited about that. But first, we're taking a look at our mission and vision along with students, staff, and families. We are working with a partnership with the YMCA. We've met with them, and we're hoping to include a component of grandparents coming into the ALC, and along with the mentoring program, getting the seniors in our environment involved with our kids at the ALC. The junior high extended day program, as you all know, we've been in partnership with that. This year, we're hoping to recruit more students, and they will all receive a free YMCA membership, which is pretty cool. So we're hopeful that we'll get more kids engaged who need that help. Central Montessori, same thing. We're going to define our core values. We're taking a look at the program structure to meet the learning needs of our community. I sent out a survey to families to see why they choose Central Montessori, and we're just sorting through that data right now to figure out why they really want that alternative option for their kids. So from that, we'll determine if we need to make changes or add different components to our school. This year, CORE replaced Strive, and so the data review that we needed to make a change, and a change was needed in programming. So in Strive, Allison was on that team as well. We took a look at what we were doing with Strive and what we needed for kids and learning. This year, we added the component of science, and it's really an a la carte. So kids did not have to take all 4 classes to be involved in the core program. It's a la carte, and we've added science as well. And between Southwest and Century, we have about 94 kids enrolled in that core program at the junior high level. I won't read to you because I know our time is limited, and I will share this PowerPoint with everyone, but the core classes really address the same standards as the general ed classes, but the core teachers focus on supporting students in the areas of academic and social and emotional skills using research-based practices. And so we're getting into that project-based piece. Many of our teachers who were in Stride have that in their wheelhouse. Their instructional practices really align with that project-based, philosophy. So again, the instructional setting includes flexible seating, project-based learning, no homework, and the class size is limited to 20 students per class. So this is the first year of CORE. Next year, as the 7-8 building becomes a reality, the 9th grade will move to the ALC. So ALC 9 will move to, CORE 9 will move to the ALC. So we'll be, those kids will move into our building for 2 years, and then we'll move to the new building in 2019, I believe, the fall of 2019. Changes for the 2018 summer school, we're taking a look at 6th graders entering the 7th grade. And there's always that transition piece that is scary for 6th graders. It's scary for kids going to the high school. So I'm taking a look at offering that component in summer school where we pre-teach math, science, English, and social studies to those kids. And they get kind of a taste of what the junior high and the high school will be like. So the 6th graders entering 7th grade will get a taste of what it's going to be like when they enter middle school. And then the 8th graders entering 9th grade, we pre-teach some of those subject areas and get them familiarized with what the high school is really about, hoping to recruit some of those high school teachers to connect with those 9th grade students or the incoming 9th grade students. Again, we are meeting, and I know Dr. Massey is a part of this, we're meeting with Playo and Ventum, which is an online program that we currently purchase through the ALC, or Targeted Services, under our credit recovery. We're hoping to review some of our programming options and standard-based credit recovery, not the seat time necessarily, but looking at standards and how those kids can recover credit by using Edmentum, our online programming. There's some pictures of our kids at the ALC. And again, our vision for the ALC is that all students will graduate from high school with the skills to pursue and be successful in a highly skilled career of their choosing, and kindle their innate desire for lifelong learning. We have a lot of highlights, and I'm not sure if you want to chime in, please do. Our instructional setting is aligned with the Minnesota standards. We're aligned with project-based learning. We do have Ranger Hour, similar to what the high school is doing this year. Do you want to talk a little bit about Ranger Hour, Tori, and how you think it's going?
Okay, Ranger Hour is definitely something new, and initially I thought I wasn't going to like it, but it's actually really awesome. We changed it a little at the ALC, so we have kind of an assigned classroom to go to, but we also can get a pass to see other teachers and get help in those classes. But this is just a way of keeping everyone just kind of, making sure they're there, doing their stuff. And it's actually a really great time for me to do homework, get a little bit of my talking out before I go to my next class, and get help with the things I don't really understand, so I don't have to go in, before school or after school. And it's actually helped me a lot, and it was a great change to the school.
And then just recently, we have a partnership with Canvas Health where we're going to start offering 2 sessions of chemical health groups run by a Canvas Health therapist. So we're excited about that. We'll offer one 6-week period per quarter for kids at the ALC. So we're super excited about that. We hope that we can meet the needs of some of those kids that struggle with chemical health, mental health. Again, we have a partnership with School-Based Mental Health, Canvas Health, same as the high school and other schools as well. We've been a PBIS school for 4 years at the ALC, and it's really aligned with supporting that positive culture. We have Ranger Respect drawings every Monday now because we think Mondays are great because it's the start of the beginning of a wonderful week rather than Fridays. So do you want to talk a little bit about the Ranger Respect drawing, Tori? Or do you want me to talk about that?
I don't know a whole lot about it yet, so.
Okay. So what we do is we acknowledge kids for the expectations that we taught them, being on time to class, being respectful to one another, respecting the environment and each other. And so we put them in a bucket, we draw 5 kids out on Mondays, and then they come down and pick a prize. And the prizes are from colleges from all over the United States, and they really love that. So we do that. Also, we do a lot of service learning projects. We are a WE school. We also pulled in somebody from out east with the elementaries. We do picture and writing. That's something new that we tried this year, and the kids love that. It really promotes that writing skill. We also have a process at the ALC to monitor our students pretty closely. We have huddle twice a week, and then we have PST every other week so that we can monitor progress for our students. Any issues that may come up, those kids will not fall through the cracks. Central Montessori, again, there's our vision, and I'll let you read that. But we are a multi-age classroom. We have 2 sections of 1, 2, 3, and 2 sections of 4, 5, 6, and 1 section of kindergarten. Again, they are aligned with best practices as far as instructional practices go. They focus on Daily 5, Linda Hoyt, picture and writing, and then they're embedding target time as well as all the other elementary schools. Montessori has been a PBIS school for 4 years. I'm talking to our communications director about Character Rodeo, which is another piece of PBIS that we use to honor students who meet the expectations that we teach them. Again, they are a we school as well. We believe that creating strong leaders and community partnerships are embedded, they're actually embedded within our school day and really bring a strong partnership to that community component along with our PTO group. So last year we went to Feed My Starving Children. We did many other service learning projects throughout the year. And again, the CLC environment, we get to see kids of all ages there, and it's just a joy to be there every day. So we believe in building relationships with our students and families, and we believe it's essential. I believe in a healthy learning environment for everyone there, and we're dedicated and committed to our kids. So I feel blessed to be at the CLC and love going to work every day. All right, do you want to share your story a little bit?
Sure.
All right.
All right, so like Kelly said, my name is Tori. I'm a senior at the ALC. It's my second year there. And I started out in 10th grade at the high school. It was definitely different than I expected. A lot bigger than Century, more people, harder classes, and I was not prepared. I was not able to keep up with the workload. I didn't feel like I was getting a whole lot of help. I didn't feel like I really fit into any specific group. And so after talking to my dean, Mr. Stang, he decided I should start to be dual enrolled at the ALC, which I did, and I loved it. I saw immediate improvement in my grades. I felt safe there. I felt like I was really welcomed and supported with everything I did. And I started there full-time second semester of last year. And my grades immediately improved. And so did my self-esteem. I had some amazing teachers, one of them being Terry, and she's my math teacher right now. And last year I didn't have her as a teacher, but I go in and socialize with her every morning and see my friends. And being there is just an amazing thing for me. I've made so many new friends. I've joined the Equity Leadership Club. It's our second year doing that. And essentially, it's a group that we started to make the students and teachers all feel welcomed and like they belong, and to build student-teacher relationships a lot more. And it's definitely been really, really good. It's going awesome so far. I think we have our third meeting tomorrow. And yes, I'm really excited for that. We're recruiting more kids as we go, and it's helping to become a very loving environment. No one is really feeling like an outcast. There's no cliques, and that in itself has been an amazing thing because a lot of high schools don't get to experience that. And so I'm really excited to graduate from the ALC. I'm really happy with my classes and my teachers, and this thing's a great place for me to be.
Thank you. And that's all we have for you. Do you have any questions for us? Any clarifications that you'd like maybe?
One question, Kelly. What is, I missed it, and I gave it to Nikki backtrack. What's the enrollment at the Montessori?
So the enrollment this year is 118. It was 116 last year, and generally that's how it's been for about the last 4 years since I've been there.
Okay.
Yeah, we never go above 120.
Okay. And then did I notice that when it went from Strive to Core, it went from like 46 kids enrolled to 94? So there was a jump there, and
Yeah. And I think that was from our 7th grade group who were referred. So we have tons of 7th graders enrolled. There was the science component that was added to, and I think that led to more enrollment. Because in summer school last year, we had about 65 kids who failed Science 9, so we knew there was a need there. So most kids, our Science 9 is full in core. So,
well, I think it's incredible, all these great options we have, all these alternative options for families, and I love how your staff and yourself, you're like tweaking things and really delving into things and looking at, you know, what's working and then trying to make changes, and I love how you have this community building there. That's wonderful. And thank you so much for sharing your story. So thank you. Thank you.
All right, well, I want to thank you for coming out tonight, and like Member Tyson said, it's just really a gem in our school district, and we appreciate you guys coming out. All right, positive happenings. Member Peterson, you want to start?
Well, I would say probably, maybe tied for first place was watching the Rangers win homecoming. The other real positive thing was the tour I just did at Columbus over there before the meeting tonight. That was fabulous to go through and see all the great new areas for students and the phenomenal mechanical room, which I may be the only one who really enjoys that. But it's nice to see all the efficiencies in there. As well as watching some fall lacrosse and some JV football. So, yeah.
Okay. Member Moorhead?
I don't think you can beat the homecoming game for sure. All the excitement, and then the tour of the senior high. I wasn't able to make Columbus tonight. I'm sorry about that because I'll go out on my own. But the senior high, I see the people's faces when they're going through. I just encourage more to come through, and I know they can't interrupt the day, but I tell them to give you a call.
Come through anytime.
It's amazing.
Okay. Member Order?
Big one for me was the Growing Tesla event out at Waldock Farm. Being on the board of that was a lot of work, but a huge success. Dr. Massey was on board as well and was there volunteering his time. And pretty sure I saw all your lovely faces that were there, and a lot of people that were in the crowd here too. So that's kind of our Super Bowl for that organization. That's our big fundraising event. The night of the event, we raised over 20 grand, and in total, we're just below 60 grand with all the sponsorships, which just shattered our record performance last year, which is fantastic. When we were making the budget, that was kind of the stretch goal, and I was very hesitant to allow them to put that into the budget, being an accountant and wanting to be realistic, and they just nailed it out of the park. So it's just really fantastic. It was a great night, huge success. So yeah, that was a big win for our school this year. That's it. Yeah.
Wow, well, thank you for all your work on that. That was a great event. And I met some parents that came for the first time from Lano, which was fun to see, but just a lot of new faces as well. So I think that's great that more people are looking at the work there. Homecoming was just a blast. It reminds me that even though we have just this issue with lack of seating and, not enough room, that just squeezing in and getting in there with the crowd it was just a spectacular game and so fun. I've been in a lot of buildings. The tours were awesome. Forest, Lake Elementary. Jeff was there, and Jill, Dr. Massey. That was just phenomenal to look down those hallways and just see this beautiful flooring, this bright lighting. Some of the teachers that were there brought us into their classrooms to see the new beautiful windows. They could see trees and the new counter space because they took the vents out of the top from blowing up the windows. This extra counter space, the new lighting in the rooms. That's kind of tangible things that just the teachers seem so appreciative of. And the big reveal where the bathrooms go. They were just beautiful. To see these tile and this cleanliness and just the functionality of them, it was very, very nice. So I also really liked how our special ed director had a special bathroom put in that room. There's just a really wonderful, nice, new tiled bathroom as well. So deserving of that space. So the high school tour was really fun. I was at the table, and there had to have been like 60 parents, 60 people coming through and heading up to find Joseph Sawyer, and then going up to see the rest of the staff. And I got to also see them when they come out, and everybody wanted to share the fantastic things they saw or the improvements that they really liked. There were also recent alumni that came that were just blown away, so that was really an exciting night. And then just being at the PTO meetings, Lionel's PTO was packed, standing room only. That was exciting to see, just parents asking great questions about our upcoming referendum, wanting new information and the latest information, and just talking about planning on the turkey bingo and whatnot. So the other positive happening I want to report about is that Wyoming Elementary had a company donate 1,000 costumes. So they were holding these events where parents could come for $5 get brand new Halloween costumes. So that was really exciting. And that's about it. Thank you.
All right, thank you. All right, agenda item 6, reports. Communications, Member Tyson.
Yeah, so our communications committee, we had a lot of talk about the upcoming referendum, and we looked at the website, which looked great, displaying information, how easy it was to access information. We went over with Ross how everything was just really neat, tidy, and clear, and easy to read. It was very impressive. I know I'm directing a lot of people to go to our website. We looked at the district-generated brochure, which was very clear and concise, and then we talked about the upcoming celebrations and tours. And that concludes my report.
All right. And then 9/16.
Yeah, 9/16 had their meeting on October 4th, which was yesterday. And we talked about, we had an update from Kerwin Technical Center. The board approved the hiring of the new equity and curriculum coordinator. Superintendent Hayes talked about how she's going to give a finance overview to the board about, again, how 9/16s are structured and their school finance and how that works in an intermediate district. And we also went over a preliminary transition plan. Christine Carr, formerly the director of administrative services, retired, so they're restructuring things to recruit a new replacement for her. We talked about the NSBA annual conference because the 14-member board rotates who gets to go in that rotation last year. And then we also talked about some new policies and eliminated 2 new policies that apply to Valley Crossing Community School, which is not a part of the district any longer. And that concludes my report.
All right, thank you. Let's see, Equity Alliance, Member Moorhead.
I'm very happy to remind everyone that we're going to be holding their meeting here in our district on the 18th, starting at 4:30. And we're going to have a closed session. We're in the middle of negotiating the evaluation, we're doing the evaluation of our executive director. So we'll have a closed meeting from 4:30 to 5:30, and whoever can come and just sit in on the meeting would be certainly welcome. I'm going to be talking to Dr. Massey. It was my idea today to maybe hold the meeting in the senior high so that I can show off some of our facilities, people who have always been showing off things to us. And so I'm going to try and work with you tonight, Dr. Massey, because they were excited about that. But I have to find out what we need. They will have to do an overhead, so I don't know if we can get that together. But we also added 2 students to our board, one of which is from Forest Lake, so we're excited about that. And going through the rest of our policies as well. So it's a busy place there, but I'm excited to have them come here and get to know some more people from our district.
And Member Moorhead, is that October 18th?
Yes, it's coming. Well, to be announced where it will be, either be here or it'll be at senior high.
We can sit in the audience, see how it looks.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And they are excited. When I called today to ask them about the senior high, they said, oh, it's not a real long agenda, so they thought there'd be plenty of time for people to take part. But, those are things we'll have to work out. Is there someone there who can take us through and that kind of thing? But hopefully some people can come and anyone can come and be a part of the audience if they want.
All right, thank you. Policy Committee, Member Peterson.
Yeah, we had some introductions from some new folks on the committee this year, which was always exciting. And then we moved the the recommended changes for the 3 policies that are on tonight's agenda for the first reading.
Okay, thank you. And buildings and grounds.
We, of course, reviewed after the long break all of the phenomenal building progress that we had over the summer, and that was pretty much the bulk of our meeting for this month, which was very exciting.
On time and under budget.
Exactly.
All right, staff welfare, Member Odegaard.
Yeah, we started out talking about the naming process and timeline for the new 7th and 8th grade building. You know, Dr. Massey kind of had an outline of the vision we were thinking, and we had a good discussion. And we'll be getting input from students, staff, parents, the board. There'll be a committee that's kind of driving the whole process. And then the goal to be presented with the new name to us at our December 7th meeting for our consideration. So that'll be here before we know it. So we'll finally know what we're going to call that place. Got an enrollment update. You know, took a look year over year. We're down 73 students. We budgeted a 75 student loss. So thankfully, we're not in total panic mode like we were this time last year. Having lost almost double what we had budgeted. Don't have to make any last minute scramble adjustments, but we're also not making up any ground. So, you know, something to monitor as we continue to go through the school year. And lastly, at the time, we were looking at the recently launched referendum website on our district website page. So that's obviously dated now since it's been live for several weeks since then, but we were kind of looking at all the information and the presentation, just looking at that. And it has a lot of good information on it. You can take a look at it. That's all we got to.
All right, thank you. And the finance committee?
A lot of crossover from staff welfare to finance, especially budget-wise. You know, we were again looking at the student loss and how that's going to impact our budget for this year. So again, something that we'll be monitoring in the finance committee as well. And then the other thing we did, we took a very extremely heavy detailed dive into our property taxes payable in 18, looking at tax capacity calcs, you know, how our tax base is growing, and took a granular look at detailed levy certification, which was very informative, but also relatively dry. So people were happy when they put those over. That pretty much took up the rest of our time.
All right, thank you. And City of Forest Lake, in the City of Forest Lake, they looked at changing the speed on North Shore Trail, which could affect some of our busing. I think they also had another special meeting determining whether one of the board members was in the district. And anything you'd like to add, Member Moorhead?
No, it's just sad that we're a little bit divided from, as a city perspective, as to what is and what is not cultivated making of the position. But as you can see or read from the paper, it's dying for a lack of a majority. So the vacancy was not created, and time will tell what they do. But
Yeah.
it's sad to see people divided again.
All right, Reshaping Opportunities for Success, 2015, 2020, ICS Consultant, Andy Halter.
Good evening. So I'm here to just give you a quick update on kind of what we did and what we were doing and what we're going to do.
All right.
Yeah.
So for the fall of 2017, at the 9 through 12 building, we got the classroom addition completed. Now we still have punch list items remaining, so we're not 100% completed. We got some things on the agenda for the MEA break to get done. The parking lots were completed. That was actually the south parking lot work was bumped up. We weren't planning to do that until next summer, but we had some detailed planning and got that done for the school year this year to alleviate some of the parking concerns, which I think has been very beneficial. And we're working on the existing classrooms, which I'll get into a phasing map and kind of see where we're at with that right now. The 7-8 building, I apologize. The construction documents were issued. We're under construction at the 7-8 building, and also the transportation building was completed this summer. So here's some pictures of the classroom addition at the high school. This is from the northeast corner of the lot, looking back at the north side of the building, and then the classroom addition that you all are very familiar with. You'll see the wood handrails. That's another item we have left for the punch list. Here's a picture of the inside of the classroom addition. I don't have a ton of pictures of the inside of the classroom addition right here. I know you guys are all pretty familiar with it, so I want to keep it within my allotted timeline as well. I will comment that these flexible spaces, I am personally amazed at how much they're used by the students going in there at any time of the day. It's remarkable. It's great to see. Here's the learning stairs. Those have been recently completed. We'll carpet those along with the existing classroom area that will be done in December. So for the most part, the classroom or the stairs are done. We just have the flooring to finish. And that happens.
And you won't carpet the stairs, you'll carpet those.
The concrete, the lower portion of the concrete
Okay.
in the hallway. Yeah, the stairs remain with that wood finish like that. It's a maple wood floor. Here's a shot of the administrative office area with the new doors on the left-hand side and then the glass wall from the hallway. That flooring will get replaced next summer throughout that area as well when we dive into the media center work. Here's a shot of the greenhouse on the south side of the classroom addition that's currently under construction. Lost a couple of days of rain recently, but all in all, it's going good. Should be done here in a couple more weeks. So here's a little bit of our phasing schedule. So what we've got going on, and this is a clip from our original phasing schedules that we issued in the bid documents and all our communications. So from August until December, we're working in the area in the existing building that's highlighted there, and then we're finishing the field house work. A couple shots of what we got going on right now. So here's a shot of the exterior of the field house. We still have some work around the entryway to do. But for the most part, the exterior is done. Here's the interior of the field house right now. Painting is 99% complete. They've got the yellow stripe to do around the inside of the field house here next week. And then the flooring is going to start. So next week we'll start with the subflooring. That's a lengthy process. It takes 7 weeks to install the flooring. So got all the basketball hoops in, scoreboards are going up right now. I debated whether or not putting some of these pictures in, but based on Porter Peterson's comments, we got a shot of the mechanical room. This is in the field house. Nice new shiny equipment and ductwork. If you appreciate things like that, it's a sight to be seen. Same with the classroom addition penthouse, the mechanical penthouse. It's very nice equipment, and it's fun to see nice new shiny high efficiency equipment in place. This is a shot of one of the locker rooms in the Fieldhouse addition. So it's painted, it's ready for lockers and benches and things to go in. It's exposed ceilings in there, so everything's all painted out. And here is 2 little shots of the existing classrooms. The demountable partitions have all been removed, framing's up. The lower right picture is one of the classrooms that's painted. The ceiling grid is in. We're working on mechanical and electrical above the ceiling. And so we've got that left, ceiling tile, and then carpeting to get done here by December 1st when we turn these over. The picture on the left is just a shot of the hallway with the new wall framed, sheetrocked, and taped, and ready for some paint. And then after the paint, the ceiling grid goes in. So you see some of that ductwork in the ceiling there as well. So then once we're done with that portion of the building, then in December, we'll move into the far west end of the building and do the classroom renovation of those spaces. And we originally planned to do some of those food service modifications that will go in that little auditorium storage space, I guess is what it functions as right now. We've got a lot of plumbing work to get done next summer, so if we can get some of that stuff out of the way early, we're all for that.
Excuse me, Andy.
Yes.
Coming back to that, what are you doing for food service? Is that just storage for now, or are you going to put something in there?
Yeah, it's going to be a portion of the food. It's going to be like a la carte type thing. There's going to be serving stations in that space. So the kitchen and serving line gets expanded. That little bump out right there doesn't exist right now, so that'll get expanded. And then there's also an a la carte type serving style that will go in that room, and then the dish room also gets renovated next summer.
Expanding the various options we have for kids. Walk through, the one that's highlighted there becomes a walk-through grab and go station for kids. We're running different products.
And then next summer, as soon as school's out, is when we'll dive into the remainder of the interior renovations at the high school, which of the media center, the food service highlighted again there, and then the classroom renovation in the music area, which also include art, the art wing, and the culinary lab, or the FACS labs get renovated. And then we have the tech ed work there on the lower right-hand corner as well. So it'll be a busy summer again next summer. And then here is some pictures of Century, the 7-8 building. So the structural steel is all up. It hasn't changed much since the structural steel goes up, which if you recall at the high school, you see a lot of progress with the steel going up, and then it takes a long time to do all the final connections and welding. And it doesn't look like a lot's happening, but there's plenty of work going on. We've got all the underground plumbing in over there, and we're getting ready to pour the slabs here. The rain, again, has not helped us over there. Actually, yesterday we pumped over 50,000 gallons of water out of the foot. Yeah, which it is what it is. It's construction in Minnesota, right? So here's a picture of the footings for the Fieldhouse edition, or the gym edition at Century. This is where I'm standing here taking this picture, is close to the corner of the existing building where it ties in. And then here's another shot. So I was basically by that yellow box taking the picture all that way, and then you can see the exact rating of the gymnasium edition, the footings for that. And then the link will tie back into the building there. We're getting ready to set precast there in the next couple of weeks. Actually, the crane's supposed to be coming here either tomorrow or Monday. We'll start offloading the crane and get that ready to go to begin the precast setting on the field house. So again, if you recall the field house edition at the high school, all of a sudden the panels go up and everything goes quick, and it's like, wow, you're done, but there's still plenty of work to be done after we get those panels set. It'll be exciting to see that progress. And then next summer, the interior renovations at Century will take place. We'll finish some parking lot work and finish up the classroom edition of the field house. And then we have the transportation building. So here's the addition that we put on the transportation building this summer. That just got wrapped up here a couple weeks ago. Here's the new kitchenette. So this is the driver's break room. This is the kitchenette that's for them. On the far left-hand side, by that floor mat, that's where the women's restroom is, and on the right-hand side is the new men's restroom. And this is like, when you come in the front door, there's the check-in counter for the drivers. So the office area is right on the right-hand side of that. The drivers come in and check in there, and then there's different things that they have on both sides of that wall for them as far as assignments and paperwork and whatnot. I was debating whether or not to put a picture of a bathroom in here, and you commented on Forest Lake, so elementary, something that I did. There's another new shiny bathroom at the transportation building. And then the picture on the right, it's hard to see, but we installed sprinklers in the existing building. So the piping running along the ceiling is a new sprinkler system, so the transportation building is 100% fire protected.
Are the bathrooms usable right now yet?
Yes, yep, everything's usable. We actually just had a little bit of an issue with the gas service to the building. It wasn't large enough for the rooftop unit, and so we've been kind of going back and forth with Excel and then getting the gas meter switched out and the pressure raised. And so everything's operating, the HVAC works, it just doesn't put out any heat right now. So it blows air. So summer of 2018, we'll have the 9 through 12 and 7-8 building interior renovations completed, and the southwest interior renovations will begin. And then the summer of 2019, we'll wrap up the southwest renovations and be done with the big construction projects, and then we'll look to see what happens with the CLC. Any questions or comments?
Well, I have one, Andy. I talked to some bus drivers at homecoming, and they are so appreciative of that new building and the bathrooms that you showed, and they're just delighted. The females were like, we just love coming in the morning. We just can't believe it. It's just so nice. So thank you for the great work there. I have a question though. Do you have anything to do with the outdoor lighting at the high school?
Certainly.
Okay. Is that all functioning now, do you know?
As when I drove through this evening, there was 2 lot lights that are not working that were working previously, so we're working on that.
I know the first home game I went to around back by the science wing, there was no lighting on, and when I came back, of course it was dark, and there was lots of kids back there, and my car was back there, and I couldn't see, so
Yes.
all those working now?
Yes, so what happened with the lighting, or what was ongoing, was we put in new light bulbs, and then we tied them into an existing time clock, and the existing time clock doesn't work. In fact, the comment was, well, you just need to wedge this in here, and then the connection is made, and they work fine, which we've since switched that out and got them tied in. At the end of the project, all the parking lot lights will be tied into the building control system, like the HVAC system, the building management systems is what it's called, BMS. And so there's a little transition period where we're trying to get all that still tied in. So I think we've got it now, but there are 2 light bulbs that aren't working right now that were working. So we'll talk to electricians about that today.
That's good news. That's great, especially when we're having home games and stuff there at night, like the tour. The tour was pretty dark too.
Yep.
Yeah.
We did hear those concerns, definitely.
Oh, thank you. One more question. On Monday, it was rather rainy, and I had some 3 women that are in the community ed program and walk in their buildings for walking in high school, and they let me know that they got wet to their ankles coming into to door 10, the
Okay.
back door, and she kept saying, yeah, the water pail was up this high of the curb. So I don't know if that was just an anomaly, because we did have a lot of hard rain that day, and I know there's been a lot of extensive work with that whole drainage there.
Yeah, we've had a lot of storm sewer structures in the south parking lot. We did get quite a bit of rain too. I guess I'd like to see where they experience that, and we can see what it is. We have all the final bits of pavement on the south lot, so it should drain as it's supposed to. Well, it is draining as it's supposed to, because nothing's here with the building, but
So I just wanted to pass that on.
yeah, I appreciate that.
Okay.
So it was right by door 10 is where they experienced
Right,
it.
that's the back end of the,
Yep.
yeah, and they always come in that way, and they've been walking in the building program for like 3-4 years now, and
Okay.
it just kind of surprised them because they knew it was all new, and,
Yep.
but anyway, I just wanted to pass that on.
Thank you.
One more question, sorry, sir. So a lot of people asked about seeing the new gym, so that'll be December 1, kind of like you alluded to in the other slides, that those things will be done by.
Yep. Yeah, the field house will be done by December 1st.
Thank you.
And if people, as always, if people want tours, feel free to reach out to me and we can organize something.
What kind of parents and people, community members that came to the tour thinking that they could see the new field house? So
Okay.
Justin Sawyer was there and said, let people know it's around December 1.
Yep. Yeah. And during that time frame, there was a lot of painting going on too, so it wasn't a real good time to get people in there. There was fumes and odors from the painters taking place.
Yeah, people are very excited about seeing it. So, thanks, Andy.
Thank you.
I don't have a question, but a comment, and it kind of feeds in what you just said. If anyone wants to come in, just let them know and I'll consider it. I was sharing with the parents, and I continue to share out in coffee shops and every place else, that we have construction people that just don't work here. But when you get to know them, you can see their heart and soul is in our project. And that means so much to me when we're out and about with you, when we hear and see what you're doing. You really look like you feel you're a very big part of this whole thing, and it's not just a job.
Thank you. I appreciate that greatly. It means a lot to me. I do. And when you see your guys' faces and the people that come in and appreciate it, it really makes it worth it. I mean, when the first day of school with the kids walking in and they were so excited, and there's kids saying, I never went upstairs to go to class before. It's simple things like that. It's like, this is why we do this, you know. But you have a lot of trials and tribulations, and it gets hard, and people get on each other's nerves, and it's not an easy job. But there's big rewards in it as well.
Well, and you smile through it all, so.
Well, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that greatly. All right.
Sounds good.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Superintendent's report, Dr. Massey.
Well, I'd like to, first of all, echo the comments regarding ICS and Andy's work, and Jack Carlson, who's on site, boots on and muddy half the days, and their pride in their work and their pride in our facilities is evident every day, and his attention to detail. There are days I asked Andy, is this part of the wall going to get yellow? And he said, nope, that's not going to get yellow. I know you'll be glad of that.
I am.
So we definitely appreciate the attention to detail and the love and care you give the facility. Also, it's important to recognize ELR, Lee Meyer, and Bryce Aristide, and their team on the architectural design. It is evident throughout the transportation building, the high school, the 7 8 building, some really skillful work. So thank you.
Thank you.
Really impressed. I'd also like to thank Kelly for her time, and Terry, I don't know if she's still here. But Kelly's leadership at the ALC and the program that we have at the ALC and the Montessori program, the CLC building, is a tremendous asset for kids who need a different place to learn, a different way to learn. Allison's work there as a teacher, all of that makes a difference every day for kids. So thank you, and Tori's courage for sharing her story with us as well is greatly appreciated. So Kelly, thank you for your leadership. I have a few items to share. First of all, each year the Minnesota Department of Education recognizes schools that close achievement gaps by more than 50%. I'm happy to report that Forest Lake Area High School has been recognized for its work in closing the achievement gap for students of color when compared to white students. The district's mission, as you know, is to provide a relevant, rigorous education for all students. Our goal is for all students to achieve at high levels as they prepare for college and careers after high school. To quote Commissioner Dr. Brenda Casilius, your staff, your students, and your community are congratulated on this incredible accomplishment and commended for the hard work they did to make this happen. Achievement gaps do not close without hard work and commitment. So a great accomplishment and a tribute to the hard work and skillful work of the high school. This year we had 5 students qualify for the National Merit Scholarship Program. After completing their application through this process, 2 students were named National Merit Scholars, and they are Thomas Castle and Laura Bailey, both seniors now at the high school. Based on students' PSAT scores, only approximately 16,000 students nationwide earned this distinction from the 1.6 million students who take the PSAT test nationwide. The other three students were named Commended Scholars, and they are Noel Corky, Gabriel Robertson, and Catherine Taylor. So congratulations to each of these incredible students and their families. Forest Lake Area High School teacher Devin Votek has recently been named the 2017 Formal Environmental Educator of the Year. This award is presented by the Minnesota Association of Environmental Education, MAEE, Award and Scholarship Program. The Environmental Educator of the Year Award is presented to the recipient who exhibits innovation and exemplary effort in providing environmental education opportunities for students. Devin teaches Earth and Space Science at the high school and advises the school's environmental club. Devin has been a leader in integrating the district's solar energy project into her curriculum as well. And lastly, Wyoming Elementary was recognized by the state of Minnesota as an exemplary PBIS school. The purpose of Minnesota PBIS sustaining an exemplary recognition is to identify and recognize exemplary schools that have completed the PBIS implementation and are continuing to achieve positive student outcomes by sustaining school-wide PBIS supports throughout their system. So congratulations to Wyoming Elementary and Kurt Slater for his leadership in this effort. And that concludes my report.
All right, thank you. All right, are there any items that people would like pulled from the consent agenda?
Approval of 7173.
Second?
What was it?
7172. Where you went the whole thing together. Licensing, classified. 74. Keep up with that. You want to get to the end of it yet.
So we have a motion to approve 7174.
Second?
All right, any discussion? There's no discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All right, thank you. All right, donations, Member Odegaard.
Yes, start things out with dictionaries from the Scandia Marine Lions to Scandia Elementary first graders for the Word of the Day program, valued at $1,095.25. $105 from the Wells Fargo Community Support Program to Century Junior High for general support. $500 from the American Legion and Forest Lake Elementary for school supplies. School supplies from Flyways Gymnastics to Wyoming Elementary for general use, a $100 value. $35.56 from Kristen Fletcher to Wyoming Elementary for kindergarten supplies. School supplies from Jennifer Millsap to Wyoming Elementary for general use at a $15 value. An alto saxophone from Corin and James Harris to the high school band for student use, a $400 value. $2,800 from the Forest Lake Forest View Elementary PTA, Forest Lake Elementary to lower the cost of field trips per class, and Gopher recess balls from the same PTA to Forest Lake Elementary for recess equipment, a $150 value. 17 backpacks with school supplies from Verizon and Forest Lake to Forest View Elementary. 2 wheelchairs, 1 overbed table, 2 boxes of linens, and 100 plastic Fairview bags from Fairview Medical Center in Chisago City to the high school intro to healthcare program and classroom equipment for that program. School supplies from Osceola Medical Center employees in Scandia to Scandia Elementary IB World School for students in need, valued at $75. School supplies from Lynn and Ren Brandenburg to Scandia Elementary for students in need, valued at $50. $1,000 from Coon Lake Community and Senior Center to Columbus Elementary for supplies or anything needed. $1,500 from Landmark Insurance Services to the Forest Lake Food Service Department to help families with payments for school meals. And 15 gift bags for dog owners from Chuck and Don's in Forest Lake to the Community Ed Adult Lifelong Learning to distribute to participants attending dog first aid and CPR class. And with that, I move approval of all of those conditions.
Do you have a second?
Second.
Discussion?
I think again, as Mr. Tyson said, that donation of those Halloween costumes was amazing. Then they set it up at the bowling alley. A lot of good families went up there and we had it programmed in that if you were in need and couldn't afford the price on the fair, they had little phrase you could use and when you pointed out or looked at it. So I just hats off to whoever that company was. I hope we find out and thank them.
Yeah. And I think also one thing, when you hear a list like that, it's not only representative of a great donation and a financial stake in the district, but it's also points out a lot of important relationships that, we see that we need backpacks, or we see that that this is needed, and then somebody will donate it, or they'll have an instrument, and they'll think about the school, and it's just really nice to see, hear that list, because it reminds us of all those important relationships we have peripheral to our school, so that's beautiful. So
One thing I wanted to add to Member Chair is that it seems like with the donations, we see new partnerships, like the
Yeah.
Osceola Medical Center and those new ones, but then again, what strikes me is that the dictionaries, my daughter who's going to be 24 has her dictionary from the Scandia Alliance in her trunk. So that's something that's been going on for a long, long time, and there's just so much value in all these donations that we are just so thankful.
all right, if there's no further discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Thank you. Kind of disappointing, there's no old business tonight, and so we'll just have to kind of get over that.
I'm over it.
All right, 10, new business. 10.1, first reading of the Family and Medical Leave Policy 428.
All right, the purpose of this policy is to provide for family and medical leave to school district employees in accordance with the Family and Medical Leave Act of 1993, and also with parenting leave under state law. So this policy needs to be reviewed annually per state and federal guidelines and regulation. The policy committee has reviewed this policy and is now recommending any changes at this time.
10.2, first reading of the mandated reporting of maltreatment of vulnerable adults, policy 414.
And this policy as well is in the packet for your review, and the purpose of this policy is to make clear the statutory requirements of school personnel to report suspected maltreatment of vulnerable adults. And there are certainly statutory reporting obligations that are spelled out in this policy for all staff as they work with vulnerable adults. The policy committee has reviewed this policy per their annual requirement to do so, and there are no changes recommended at this time.
And then 10.3, first reading of the mandated reporting of child neglect or physical or sexual abuse policy 522.
And the purpose of this policy is to make clear the statutory requirements of school personnel to report suspected child neglect or physical or sexual abuse. And the policy committee has reviewed this policy, and again, you have a copy of this policy in your packet. And per the recommendation of the Minnesota School Boards Association, I'd point out a recommended change on page 4, item J, in the middle of that definition section of sexual abuse. There's a recommendation to include the language sexual abuse also includes reports of known or suspected child sex trafficking involving a child who is identified as a victim of sex trafficking. So the recommendation for the policy committee is to add that language to the definition of sexual abuse.
All right, thank you. 11, review upcoming calendar dates. So take a look at the upcoming calendar dates. Are there anything else you think we want to add to that?
I would point out that the mid-October school board meeting has been moved to next Thursday due to the MEA break.
All right. And then also October 18th, the Equity Alliance.
Here or there, wherever we decide to meet, but I'm hoping that we can go to senior high. Should I work with Mr. Caldwell?
Yeah, we'll talk after the